Welcome to this week's episode of the B Movie Club. This week we're going to be talking about 1989's Tango and Cash, starring Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell. If you don't have a copy of Tango and Cash yet, I'm sure you could rush out to Target and get this one. This was about $6 and it included Cobra. So you can't beat that bargain. I was disappointed that it didn't include Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, but I guess we can't always get what we want. Let me just say, if you have not seen it, it is an exciting film. It was actually the first and I believe only buddy cop film with Stallone that he was in. Originally, it was supposed to be Patrick Swayze, and then he pulled out to do another B-Movie Club favorite, Roadhouse. So when he pulled out, they went and found the next best mullet, I guess, and that was Kurt Russell. And I'll tell you what, I thought it was a good combination. They are they're the two most successful cops in LA. One is from Beverly Hills, that's Stallone, Ray Tango. He's Beverly Hills. He wears a suit and tie. He has glasses. He's actually nearsighted in real life, and usually he wears contacts. But this was during that period where he started to wear his glasses like all the time because he was trying to get rid of that whole idea that he was somehow like Rocky, kind of mumbling and drooling. Then you also have Kurt Russell, who's in East LA, who wears like cowboy boots and jeans and t-shirt. They're rivals. They're both narc cops who are out to stop the drugs in LA. And that gets them to the skin of this major league crime boss, played by Jack Palance. And this movie also features one of the earlier appearances of a young Terry Hatcher, who plays Stallone's younger sister, Kiki, who later becomes Kurt Russell's love interest over the course of the movie. This movie only got 39% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I think that is a travesty. It is far more entertaining than 39%, in my opinion. It's funny, they actually went through two different directors of photography. The first one was fired because Stallone didn't think he was lighting him and shooting him properly. They actually also went through two different directors. The main director was actually fired with most of the principal photography done because the producers thought he was taking it too serious an angle. They thought it should be kind of wacky and not nearly so, I guess, door. But I don't know. Based upon the movie, I don't know how it could be. It's kind of this dramatic thing. It's a buddy cop movie. It's not Schindler's List. So then they brought in a new guy who wrapped up everything. The original director, his name is Andrei Konchalovsky. He's a Russian director. I'm sure I butchered that name. He has done a lot of, obviously, Russian films. It really hasn't done much. I think he did The Nutcracker in 3D a couple years ago. So they brought in a new guy, and after showing the movie to test audiences, they were not pleased, let's say. So they had to go back and re-edit it. And the original composer who composed all the background music, Harold Faltermeyer, who's famous for Beverly Hills Cop, he did Axel Foley's theme, he was no longer available. So they actually had to hire a second composer to do the background music on these new edited scenes. Which, to me, it looks like it's pretty... it's hard for me to imagine that they re-edited it that much because it seems like it flows pretty easily, but who knows. It's also interesting because one of the main thugs in the movie. Brian James, who you've seen in a bunch of other things. He's always like kind of the heavy. He was in Blade Runner and a few other things. He was originally supposed to have only like a couple lines or no lines. But in order to get more screen time, he came up with this crazy Cockney accent, and Stallone loved it so much that they fleshed out his role. So now he's all over the place with this crazy ponytail and ridiculous fake accent. This movie is on Netflix, but it is not available for instant streaming, which is a shame, let me tell you. So you're going to have to get it through snail mail, or like I said, you could buy it from Target or Amazon or a flea market or anything like that. One of the members of our club wrote in, Gina, she says that probably the best acting of Stallone's career. Yeah, not saying much. It does have a few dry one-liners. I'll tell you what, this movie, basically every line is a one-liner. It's all over the place. I mean, they don't have any regular conversations about exposition. It's just one-liner after another. It's funny because typically in these buddy cop flicks, you have like the one cop who's like by the book and one who's kind of a loose cannon. No, not so much. They're both kind of loose cannons. In this one, they say it's bad cop, worse cop. That's basically what you're dealing with here. But overall, exciting, funny. It's really, watching it, it's just fun. You sit down and I guarantee you're going to laugh. Anyway, that is it for this week's B Movie Club. Next week, we will be doing The Hitcher, starring Rutger Hauer and C. Thomas Howell. You can reach me on Facebook. I'm also on Twitter at KD9575, so please send in your comments, questions, suggestions for future movies. We have been ending every episode with a quote from the movie. And let me tell you, there are quite a few. There are quite a few winners in this movie. One of my favorites is when Kurt Russell and Stallone are basically surrounded and cornered in the jail by all the crazed criminals, and the crazy British guy is coming up to him with like a knife. And Kurt Russell goes nuts, and he basically says, "I don't want this crazy immigrant limey jerk off killing me. I want to be killed by an American jerk off." So, always a classic. Good times. Have a good one. And we will see you next week on the B Movie Club.